Hello? Hello, hello, hello. One sec, I'm still setting up. I try not to take more than 5 minutes when I set up. Got distracted though. Alright, face tracker is technically running. I wouldn't call it running in this current fashion, but let's see. There we go. Move my headphones back. My voice meter setting is just all wrong. Disconnect my controller. There we go. Switch the scene. Boom. Oh geez. Boom. And there he is. He's beautiful. One exquisite scene you have been graced by. Alright. Sorry, I'm just setting up the rest of my setup. Isn't it weird how setup and set up is like a verb, but setup is also like a noun. So you can set up a setup. You set up a setup, and the only way that you know which thing a person is referring to is when they do like set up or set up. But then if you're talking quickly, you would, you would call it like, I'm gonna set up the setup. I'm gonna set up the setup. At least in American English, you and I suppose also in my accent as well. You put not quite a hard stop between setup and setup, but there is the distinction. Give me one sec. All right, here we go. Welcome back. This is where we're at. We're still working through the rewrite stuff. So I think where I left off was, all right, let me bring back the vertical screen. This is where I left off. I was trying to refactor this part, GDML here. Yeah. So more specifically this part, which is the connection args, which I don't believe are currently handled correctly, although I could be wrong. Which one am I looking at though? I mean, this should be the new one. Yeah, because these are all just inline. Yeah, in the generate function. So did I accidentally handle this already? Or maybe I'm just dumb? So this is just in handle attribute. Handle attribute is called by handle elements. And you need to handle every single attribute that's in the tag. So I need to get this rewrite done first, and then I'm gonna rewrite this again because I've come up with a better idea on how to handle this. Let's see, where are we at with this? I don't remember where exactly I left off. So none of the connections are working, although we are applying the themes. Okay. That's fine. We leaked a few objects, that's okay as well. I'm pretty sure I know exactly which thing it's referring to. Let's see, is it not? Should be doing this, right? Everything else is a connection. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at here? Let's set a breakpoint. Boom, boom. If not, object has this signal. So this is a button. We're looking for key. Here. Anything else? Oh, it's and, not. Is and. Not or. Or is if we want to fall through. Okay, so we should pass over that and then, yeah. Now we should be connecting. Would help if I actually looked at this stuff. All right, that looks good, I think. Which means it's good to merge, and then I'll just start working on the rewrite of this really quick rewrite. I think that makes sense since it's anchored to be full rect. But actually, this should be anchor left half, which is wrong. Yeah, so this isn't applying the first anchor correctly, which is probably this one. Yeah. So this is anchoring it to full rect as well, which is wrong. So... Alright, so that's the hello button. Yeah, so that's what we're seeing here. This is the inner button, but the inner button doesn't really do anything. But it's this part that's wrong. And actually, I feel like this GDML object should probably actually be a like a canvas layer. I'll continue to consider it. But this one has incorrect anchors associated with it. So what's going on here? Am I... Oh, you know what? GDML, I also need to parse. Handle GDML, I also need to parse the attributes. So this is like handle attributes, and then I need to pass in a, what's the stack for? What am I using the stack for here in source? Oh, because if we need to attach a script. Okay, I mean that's fine, I think. So here in GDML, we can do like handle attribute. Well, now the handle element, and then we can do, there are tags in the current thing. Yeah, so we have this. Oh yeah, we have the current stack here. So what we can do is, oh, we don't have the GDML tag associated with this. Okay, handle GDML. Where is this called? Handle GDML. Calls itself recursively. Okay, so we can take this part out. I think this is mostly correct, except for the very, very last part, which is applying the attributes. So I'm starting to like where this is going. This is pretty good considering I went into this with no plan whatsoever. I've just kind of done what felt right, which is kind of the story of my life, really. It's served me very poorly so far. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's not true. It's served me okay so far. It served me okay. So handle GDML. And then based off of this GDML thing. Okay, so the GDML thing does not return a stack, which is okay. Maybe. I'm thinking, okay, so this GDML, this is what we get back. We just get back a node, hopefully. No stack because we discard it as soon as we exit scope. Which means it's better to... Oh... I need to handle the... I need to grab the first tag. I need to grab the first tag. Because the first tag is always going to be the super tag. Right? Hold on. No. So handle GDML. This is the inner GDML, which is fine. I think this part, this is one of the key points of pain for sure. Well, we can just grab the tag and then process the attributes for it based off that tag. So this is handle attributes requires a stack, which we kind of have. Although maybe it should be handled after we've processed everything else. So the root, yeah, the root is the very, very last thing. So we can grab the first tag here. So grab root GDML tag and apply attributes. No, we should apply the attributes first because the root GDML tag, it doesn't make any sense. Well, no, it does make sense to apply the attributes to it afterwards, right? Because, like, technically, like, the root GDML tag can refer to an inner style or an inner script, I suppose. Or maybe I should just make it so you can have like globally available GDML. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because that I think that's confusing. So every single script must be associated with an upper GDML file. But then when we're processing the GDML tag, GDML tags cannot have, or top level GDML tags cannot have a script associated with them. Or in general, you should try to avoid having scripts associated. Well, I'm thinking about it. Right, because a GDML node is just a control. So you could conceivably attach, you know, like a node script to it. Possibly connect things. So GDML tags will have to be very special. I'm gonna think about that. That's hard. That's like an important design decision that I didn't think of. Right, because inside like the styling, I can generally guarantee that all the scripts will be hoisted, so every single tag inside here will have access to these scripts. But then for the GDML container, do I want that container to also have access to these scripts so you could potentially like assign a script or some logic to it? I think there is like a there's a logical flow or a logical order that the tags should be processed in, which is to say, well, the logical order is just like process source first. All right, let's start taking notes now that I'm starting to think about this more with a fresh mind. So GDML notes. So tags should have source attribute processed first, so that connections can be made afterwards. Don't save it. Can be made afterwards based off script. Yeah. I think GDML containers can pull scripts from children. Everything else must pull from GDML scope. Yeah, I think that makes sense because I don't want to have like the concept of just a superscript, right? Because the intent is that every single GDML tag is just its own node, basically standalone, so they don't have any dependency on each other. If you want to use the same style per node, you need to load it in per node. Yeah. So GDML must be the top level script. Because that's how I differentiate between the nodes. Yeah. GDML tag must be top level. I suppose like we could also have like the C data tag. Yeah. I think I mentioned that last Thursday. I think that makes sense. Right here, what we'll do for now is process tag for GDML. So just put a region. Handle GDML tag. So var GDML tag is equal to, and this will be a GDML tag. Of course, it's namespaced. So layout, tags, pointer pair A, which should be the tag for the current GDML scope. And for key in GDML tag dot attributes dot keys. Hit it with a handle attribute. How did I handle this here? So this is handle element, handle attributes. Var error is equal to handle attribute. Pass in the stack that we're currently using. Pass in root key GDML tag attributes key. I I think that's okay. So if error is not okay, then we'll push error. Attributes key, just so that we can debug this. All right. I think that should process it correctly now, maybe? Ooh, yeah, let's go. Okay, so now we're back to where we were before, so we're able to hook things up. Look at that. Just all completely based off of this XML file, which I am probably going to parse as a GDML file. What's the XML file syntax, I guess? XML syntax, I guess? What are the rules? This line is called the XML prologue. Prologue like the language, or like the prologue missing the UE? It's optional. What is XML C data? XML C data. Because this is something that Godot supports, but I don't really know what that means. Oh, I see. I've never seen that before, but this is something that Godot's parser recognizes. C data. So XML parser. Yeah, so you can have C data, which is just C data, character data, not parsed by the thingy. Nesting is not allowed in the C data section. Yeah. Okay. I think technically this should actually be, yeah, going off this should actually be past the C data, but I guess XML's, or Godot's XML parser just kind of works. So, you know, I'm not going to question it. If it works, it works. I think we're going to send it. This is OpenCPaste. We don't care about OpenCPaste right now, but we will. So, get diff. What was the diff? Where are we at? Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So this is handle attributes. So I don't believe I've actually submitted this as a pull request. Yeah, it's not actually submitted as a pull request. But what I am going to do is git check out master, git merge refactor, git restore project Godot, git merge this thing, and then here we go. It's beautiful. Git push. nothing changed. I should have pushed it. Yeah. Okay, cool. What's changed in the Project Godot? Nothing. That's fine. All right, one more time. Once more with feeling. So we're going to rewrite this one more time. But hopefully with a bit more clarity. So I think this is pretty much where I want to be, but in the parser, I think I need to have like a dedicated thingy to handle parsing, because this is just getting ridiculous at this point, right? So the layout should probably handle most of this. Yeah, so identify tags. Probably don't need it. Add tag, that's good logic. Identify tags, Oh, you know what? Also, something I need to do is add in Godot. So let's do copy recursive. I like how I did Godot for whatchamacallit, OpenCPace, GD. So we'll grab add-ons, Godot, and just place this inside of add-ons. Is beautiful. So ls add-ons, there's Godot. Let's also grab the script templates thing. So make directory script templates. Then we'll copy script templates. There's like Godot test custom. Yeah. And then also OpenCPace GD script templates GD ignore, and then we'll place both of these into my script templates folder. Didn't appear to copy that, but that's okay. We can touch script templates GD ignore. Oh, right, ls all. Let's show hidden files. Yeah, there it is. So let's go ahead and activate Godot. I like Godot. We'll put this into the tests folder. Let's give me new folder, tests. Include subdirectory. Tests. Beautiful. Run all, and then nothing should happen because there are no tests. Oh baby, finish on success. Or exit on success. Technically it's failing because there is nothing there, and that's okay. All right, so let's start breaking this out into separate things. So there's Godot CSS theme. That's not really something I need to test. But I think the parser needs to be broken out into its own thing so that there's a reader, a tag, etc. And those are all used by the parser. So let's start moving things over as need be. Parser should give me back a layout. That's what I'm envisioning. Or no. Well, yes. We'll think about it. So we'll call this, we'll call it tag parser. That's pretty good. Tag parser. It's a reference. GDML tag parser. Right, and then this will also allow me to hopefully unit test things a bit better. So we're going to move things from layout to tag parser. Tag parser. So you can remove most of these niceties, if you will. let's see. So GDML. Okay. So the tag parser will parse based off of the results from the reader. So the reader just gives me tags. I mean, that's what it should do, right? It just reads nodes, and then optionally either calls read path or read buffer. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So there's your reader, boom, boom. And then pre-pass, that's the main function that will be passed back to, or that will be moved into the tag parser. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then layout should just be more of a struct. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so let's do func. We'll start parsing given a path. So this will be some sort of, we'll call it input, right? Call it input. If is path, so you can either give it just straight text. Okay. Okay, I see. Yeah, so this is some sort of input. This will return an integer. Mostly because this is not the end consumer. Let's not get too deep into the weeds here. Okay. So then we'll have a reader just available in this scope. So var. Yeah, this reader should be available just in this scope, just so it doesn't get too complicated. So the reader is equal to GDML reader new var error is equal to okay. We'll just return an error. So an error is equal to reader read path inputs, and then we need to check to see if we need to normalize this, I suppose. So we'll move a lot of this over to the tag parser as well. So this isn't really a tag parser anymore, actually. This is more of a GDML file parser. It's more correct. Or we'll call it just the parser, right? It just parses stuff. Parser, beautiful. So then go to parser. There is your parser. Guess what the parser does? It parses. So given some inputs, so var. If input is an absolute path, then your input is equal to a globalized path from that input. If it's a relative path, then we're looking for a context path. It's probably okay. We can have this accept a context path as a constructor arg. Or actually, no. Who needs constructor args? Constructor args are for nerds. And actually, there are no connections, so we don't need most of this. Right, so we'll have inputs, we'll have an option, well, a required context path. So here, if context path, well, we can make it equal to empty, that's fine. So if context path is empty, then we'll just push an error. It's required. Oh, but actually, it should not just return an integer either. This should be returning a control. Yeah. What am I doing? This needs to return a control. Well, actually, no. This needs to return a layout. Yeah, this needs to return a GDML layout. Returns a GDML layout, we'll just return this layout afterwards. And then whenever we return, we'll just return whatever we have at that point in time and then just try to run off that. So yeah, so it'll be empty and that's okay. So if context, context path inputs. So I'll move this over. So assume this is the result of file get as text. Okay, cool. So then we have our reader. We'll read from path based off of if it's is path, else read buffer. UTF-8. I'll need to unit test that later. I'll just do the Golang thing. Check the error. See if it's okay or not. Push error. While parsing this. So this is inputs. Yeah, look at that. There's your layout. All right, so now pre-pass is where we're moving this out. So then parse will just give us a layout and we don't need to worry about handling any of this stuff. So while true, data is equal to reader, read node. What does reader give me when I call it read node? It's node data. There's your node data. I think reader is pretty good. Nothing needs to change here except maybe like take out this part, but I mean, that's pretty much all we need, right? Yeah. Because it handles open, close, and text. And there's nothing else that needs to be handled for XML parser, because yeah, I guess there's none, but then we just ignore it, which is fine. Okay. So if data is complete, then we'll break. Node data isn't node data. Okay, it is just called node name. So if that is not empty, then we'll call layout add tag data node name. I think that's fine. And so we'll just continue looping until it's complete. Feels pretty good. Here in layout. Okay, so identify tags and all this other jazz needs to be handled. So we need to identify tags. So this is like the first pass. So identify tags. Given a GDML layout. Yeah, so layout should just be pretty much just this, right? So layout is more of a struct, a pure class, with only just one helper function in order to add new tags. And then after that, it'll be the parser that manipulates everything else. So this is like a tokenized, we use the XML parser, Godot's XML parser as the tokenizer. This will be the actual parser, and then it's also like a combination evaluator, almost. Well, no, that's not true. This is just the parser. GDML will be the actual evaluator in that it takes the output from GDML parser and then creates the actual nodes based off of the results. Yeah. All right, so given a layout, so this will work inline. Doesn't actually return anything. So then we have identify tags. We don't need to clear anything because this is the first pass. We'll hit it with an identify tags for the layout. And then since we're doing everything, we're doing everything based off pointers, which is kind of a pain, but it is what it is. Yeah. Isn't it GD script range actually works differently if you go backwards? I feel like I remember that, but maybe I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy though. Not yet. Increment is negative, final -1 will become final +1. Yeah, so this is actually, yeah, this is still valid. So this is final +1, so this is -1. Size. There we go. So based off all of this, then we need to normalize depth, etc., etc. So because we maintain a list of matched pointers, that's okay. So if tag pointer match pointers, we'll just continue blah blah. Pretty vanilla for now. Now it's the interesting part is the potential GDMLA, GDMB, and then the script A, script B parts. So I feel like for the script stuff, I actually don't really need them. So GDML pointers absolutely need to identify every single pair. Every single pair of GDML pointers. And actually, maybe this should work recursively to find tags by type. Or maybe not. Right, because, I gotta think, because we're parsing it backwards, of course, right? We parse it backwards, or does it even matter if we parse it backwards or forwards? I don't actually remember. Does it matter if I could just parse this forwards, right? And then it would work the same way. So if we parse it like, and the only tags we need to identify are actually the GDML tags and the script tags. Everything else is just kind of like assumed. Although it is nice to be able to identify open close tags automatically. So GDML, We'll look forward for GDML. We find that this is a GDML tag, but find that it's also an open tag. So we can then run it again. Not recursively, I suppose. Yeah, so all of these are actually totally fair. Thinking. This should still run. Hold on. I'm just now noticing that this might be wrong. So we should have an inner GDML. Inner GDML here with a lot of other inner GDMLs. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Which means I'm refactoring off a solid base, or a working base. Maybe not solid. But once we just need to tag everything and then tag the open and close tags, or identify the open close tags, which I think is okay. Yeah, I suppose I was gonna say like we could do these in separate passes, but then why not just do them both at the same time, right? Actually, on the Godot subreddit, I did see that Godot's built-in static typing can actually fail in exported builds. For, you know, if you're just passing an integer, you cannot depend on Godot to figure out if you meant like an int or a float here. I think that I think Godot will lean towards floats in most cases, unfortunately. I think that's the takeaway I got from that, which leads to floating point errors when you don't intend for it. It's kind of weird because that's not how Golang does it. Python doesn't even have like strict typing. It just has like type hints for its static typing. So I guess that's the same way that Python works as well. Well, no, Python, if you're doing type hints, you must provide an actual type hint, right? I've never checked. I generally prefer explicit type hints though, for my own sanity. Let's see, tags. Well, I suppose that these can be done. Well, that's fine. We'll do this. So I'll grab the close tag. The close tag is an open tag. Then we'll need to maintain a list of orphan pointers. Well, we can maintain this list outside of this, I guess. We can maintain this list outside of it. So here, we don't need to persist the data. We do need to hold on to it. So this is GDML pointers, scripts pointers, and then orphan pointers. The more I look at it, the more I'm thinking maybe it does make sense just to put it all in the layout class and then just have layout figure itself out. Yeah. It's too complicated since everything just happens inside of layout anyways, right? So we generate the layout. We can call identify tags on it. Identify tags. It'll just work implicitly. This, we do need to clear it every single time just in case. Although I think that's something that I'm going to be changing. So change this. This is a spelling mistake. Very embarrassed. So these are temporary pointer data. There's your temporary pointer data. So we cannot depend on that persisting. It's just better to label it, right? We can do like a process orphans. Process orphans. I don't think there's any chance of error for this, so that's okay. So this is for I in, or we'll call it orphan, right? For orphan in layouts, or no, for orphan in orphan pointers. We'll normalize depth for the orphan. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Oh, hold on. For orphan in orphan pointers, and then we'll so this is a for orphan pointer in orphan pointers. For regular pointer, for pointer in range, orphan pointer +1, because we don't want to modify the actual orphan. So this is tags or tags pointer depth -=1. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I guess this is normalize orphans. Layout, normalize orphans. That's pretty good. Let's run through this logic one more time just to make sure I'm correct. So close tags, we check if close tags it's GDML. If it's a script, then it must be a tag pointer. Or no, it must be the GDML B or script B, whatever. Then has match. So then we'll run through every single tag from the opposite direction. Yeah. So run through every single tag. Wait, is that correct? Ooh. Hold on. For I in range, tag pointer to 0, sorry. So from GDML to the expected place, or 1-. So from here, we'll check label, button, GDML, and find that it matches. That's okay. Oh, and then I think I can see a way to optimize this. So if we ever see a close, then we can, there's just one tag to ignore. So there's like an ignore count. Yeah, there's a rolling ignore count that we just need to have. Every time we see a hanging close tag, maybe that's okay. Since it doesn't really matter, right? So in this instance here, we'll hit GDML, ignore, match. Then this one will match to this one, this will match to this one, this will match to this one. But because of how I have everything laid out, it doesn't really matter. Identify tag. Hold on. No, I think there's a better way of doing this. So we can look for, and of course we want to ignore anything that's already matched. Want to ignore anything that's already matched. But then we can do has match. Yeah, okay. So we can do something like this, which is find match. Func find matching tag. And so this will take in the pointer location. So this takes a pointer plus the tag name. And we'll return an integer. Where the integer is the matching tag. And then based off of these results, yeah, we'll just look through. If we don't find anything, then we just return -1. Easy. So if we ever receive -1, we know that that must be an orphan. Yeah, so now I don't need to manage, you know, A, B for GDML and scripts. So find matching tag. What we'll do is we want to find a matching tag for this pointer and tag name. Tag name is the thing that we're looking for, so we'll do for I in range pointer -1 because we don't want to search for the pointer. Look for -1 because we want to look all the way through the array. We'll increment backwards. And then there's a long range of things that could potentially be matched, which is where this is starting to get tough. So matched pointers must be an array. We'll pass that in. So for I in range pointer -1 to 0, -1 is, if you're going in reverse, it automatically adds 1 instead of subtracts 1, so it's always non-inclusive. If I in matched pointers, then we'll just continue. So if we don't find anything, then it's okay. Yeah, and since we're matching backwards, yeah, that's okay. So var tag, which is a GDML tag, is equal to tags I. So we want to check if this is an open tag. So if tag, if not tag is open, then we'll just continue, right? Because that means that we've hit another close tag. So so when we're parsing backwards, GDML, we hit this one. We don't care about this one. We don't care about this one. We're only looking for a matching open tag. Yeah. So if it's not open, because we'll eventually hit the next close tag anyway, so that's fine. So if it is an open tag, so if tag name is equal to tag name, then then matched pointers append I, and then also so we'll just return I. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that is exactly it. So we'll run through every single thing, which means that we can take out most of these. Yeah. Because if it returns -1, that means we didn't find anything. Find matching open tag. Find matching open tag. Find a matching open tag for the given pointer. We don't need to have the actual tag, although we could grab it, but there's no point because we already know what the tag name is because from the tag name parameter. So params pointer integer. This is the pointer for the close tag, the tag name, which is a string, the name of the close tag, matched pointers, an array of pointers already matched, passed by reference. So this returns open turns an integer, which is the pointer index for the matching open tag. Yeah. So from this point onwards, from this index -1, since we're searching for the matching open tag for a close tag, close tag for the matching for the given close tag pointer. So from that pointer, not including the pointer, up until 0, right? Because we process everything backwards. Only because we're trying to search for orphan open tags. And then we'll also run through every single tag in reverse order. So if we've already matched, then we'll just continue. If we cannot continue, then we'll return -1. Returns 1 if no match is found. Yeah, so we grab the tag, we check to see if it's an open tag. If it's not an open tag, then we'll just continue iterating, because that means that it's another closed tag that we'll get to eventually. Then we check the tag name against the search name. If it matches, then we'll append the pointer. Yeah, actually, we should do match pointers append pointer. Well, we'll need to do this for both. Match pointers append pointer, because we've matched both this one and this one, so we never want to match against them again, just in case. It doesn't really matter, since we're only ever looking for open tags, but you never know. And then for script tags, you should always have a match. Yeah. So we'll maintain just a giant list of matched pointers somewhere else. Okay. So if we find a match, then of course that's matched, return I. And then after that, then we'll just have to handle it separately. So we'll take out this, which should start breaking stuff. Orphan pointers, that's okay. And then here we do need to handle script pointers slightly differently. Okay, and then we're only looking for pointers. Like script tags are a special case, I suppose, but well, I guess we can just assume open close for anything that is an orphan. Yeah, I guess that's okay. So we'll assume open close for anything that is not an orphan. So let's delete all this. I think this is most of this is pretty gross. But let's keep it here anyways. Open. So if we ever encounter, because we're going back, so if we ever encounter an open tag that does not have a match, then that will be that's an error, essentially. That should never happen. But that's okay. I don't think I need to, since we're identifying tags, it's okay. We can just assume. Yeah, we can just assume. I suppose what the question is, what happens when you do like a self-contained button? So when you have something like button like that, what happens? Because I think that is a valid use case, because you could potentially attach like source button script to this for whatever reason, and then leave it unlabeled. I don't know why, but maybe the button script does the labeling for you. So I think that's valid. I do need to identify script pointers in GD. Okay, so most of this doesn't actually change. So we need to identify each script pointer. I feel like most of this I can just do later. Yeah. So we'll do find matching open tag given the current tag pointer. This is the close tag name, and then matched pointers, which you just kind of slap in here. So that should work. So this is open pointer, open tag pointer. Open tag pointer. Okay, so then we need to check against if open tag pointer is less than 0, aka it's -1. Yeah. Open tag pointer is -1, then orphan pointer append who oh, actually, yeah, this is the tag pointer. This is just based off the tag pointer. Because if we don't find anything, then this one must be an orphan. It's a closed orphan, which is okay. Maybe. I'm thinking I'm still missing something. Like there's something I could still do better. Which is like, maybe I could rewrite the entire reader so it would read until it finds a matching open close. And if it doesn't, then it must be an orphan. So I can just change how I do the reading entirely. Yeah, I could do something like that. But then if we're reading it anyways, you might as well just parse it at the same time. So it's less correct, but it's a bit faster, instead of just iterating over everything. And then also I'm trying to avoid doing this recursively. So if you have an orphan close pointer, what happens? Or an orphan closed element, what would you expect to happen? I guess it's just incorrect. Actually, yeah, an orphan closed element will just break, wouldn't it? Which means I need to rewrite this entire logic. Like during the read, yeah, during the read, I need to check to see if we have a match, right? Like it's okay to have hanging open elements, but it's not okay to have hanging closed elements. Because otherwise that doesn't make any sense. And I think that does also break the depth calculations. Yeah, that absolutely breaks the depth calculations. Okay. Okay. All right, so what I can do is I can hold on to a list of tags. I can hold on to a list of tags here externally. So var, so known tags count. So we'll just count them. So this should be tag name, which is a string, to tag count, which is an integer. So if it's complete, then we'll just break, it doesn't matter. But if we get to this point, then we need to check to see if it's an open tag or not. So if data is open, no data is open. So if data is open, then we'll do okay, so if known tags count, if not known tags count has data node name, known tags count data node name is equal to 0. We'll just 0 it out, that's fine. Then we'll do known tags count data node name plus equals 1. Wait. No, we can't just do plus equals 1, right? Because then we don't know if we accidentally went below 0 at any point. Or I guess we could just check to see if it goes below 0, right? So we can do 1 if or I guess it's like hanging tags count, right? Because we parse this forwards, not backwards. So hanging tags count, so plus 1 if data is open, else minus 1. So plus positive 1 or plus negative 1, which is just minus 1. Then we can check against that value. So if hanging tags count data node name is less than 0, then I think we'll just want to ignore it. Yeah, we'll just want to ignore it and then zero it back out. So that's an error. So push error. Found hanging tag. Don't have a position, but that's okay. And tags count is equal to 0. So I zero it out. Continue. And then here we also need to do if data node name empty, then we'll also just want to continue, which makes this simpler. Okay, so while true, we grab the next node, check to see if it's complete. If it's complete, then we just break out the entire thing entirely. If the node name is empty, then we'll also just continue, because that generally means that we've hit an empty block. Then we see if we've encountered the tag before, because the first run through we do a forward pass, or we pass through it normally forward in the forward direction. If we have not encountered it before, then we initialize it to 0. Then we increment or decrement it based on if it's open or closed. So this is an open tag, so we'll increment it by 1. This is actually an increment. Yeah, and then, okay, actually, yeah, that's how we'll figure out orphan tags. I don't need to do the, I guess, the other pass, I suppose. I mean, I still need to do the other pass, but at least it's easier for me to figure out which ones I'm looking for. So pass through it once. Just keep my own count. And then I can determine, well, I guess at this point, then I don't need to determine depth either then, because then I'm just matching them up. Yeah, because I can match them up. I'm already matching them up here and find matching open tag pointers. So then I just need to find the root GDML tag pointer and then match everything up from there, because that's okay. Yeah. Okay. Changing how the entire thing works, no problem. Mostly because I realized that if I have a hanging close tag, it would break the entire application, which is interesting. So add tag, layout, add tag. I don't think we want to add a depth. Or maybe we do. Maybe we do. Yeah, actually, yeah, we still do. We still want to maintain the depth count, and then we will. This pass is just looking for hanging close tags. Yeah. So it's a hanging close count. Hanging close count. There we go. Boom, boom. Could not be fully loaded. That's fine. Boom, boom. If it's not, then we'll set it back to 0. Well, actually, that's a problem because we can't guarantee that that's gonna be true. Why is parsing XML so hard? Because I realized that, well, actually that's fair, right? That's actually totally fair. So if you do something like this, that's actually not my problem. Yeah, I don't care. So if you do something like that, that's your fault. Okay, that's okay. So if you accidentally insert like a matching close tag where you shouldn't, that's your problem. Yeah, okay. So this helps filter out close tags. This helps find open tags, which are still technically valid. Yeah. So we'll do find matching open pointer. So if this is -1, then we didn't find a matching open pointer, which doesn't actually make sense. So that should be 100% an error because we should have found that earlier during parsing. Yeah. So this is like note. This should be caught during tag initialization. But check again anyways. Yeah. And then we want to check against script tags and GDML tags. And then we don't really care about, well, only for GDML tags do we care, right? Script tags doesn't matter because we just ignore the close tag for all script tags anyways. For GDML, we do want to keep track of open and close because that's how I know which scopes to allocate scripts to. So if close tag name is equal to, I guess we'll just match, right? Because there could be other things I need to potentially handle. So close tag, so we match against this. So there's GDML constants, GDML, then GDML pointers, append GDML pointer data. No, so this is open tag pointer. Now let's change this. This should now be closed tag pointer, right? Yeah. So tag pointer. Most of this stuff can start going away. Yeah, so there is no such thing as a tag pointer anymore because I've changed the name to closed tag pointer and the open tag pointer. Here, GDML constants, scripts. I mean, we might as well, right? GDML or script pointers. Well, actually, that's not guaranteed. That's why I don't attach a GDML pointer to it every single time, because it's not guaranteed to exist. Although we could still, GML pointer data. Yeah, you know what? New open tag pointer. Well, no. So this is an unexpected open tag. Yeah, no, yeah, script pointers. Should just be like that. So if we encounter an open script pointer or an open script tag, then just assume that it's hanging. Yeah. But if we ever encounter just a hanging close script tag, then assume that it's an error. Yeah, which is what the push error part is for. Yeah, okay. Okay. But this is just a pointer because we only care about the first part. Because there's also no guarantee. Well, there is kind of a guarantee that we will find. I gotta think. I might have to do like a few more passes, right? Because this, maybe I should just do a normalization pass first, and then we can do a regular pass. Yeah, you know what? I think I should just do a normal pass first. So this isn't really identify tags. This is more like, this is like fixed tags almost. Fixed tags. So this is run through each, yeah. This is more like fixed tags. This is closer to fixed tags because I actually call identify tags twice, which is not correct. So you wouldn't, I guess, identifying tags twice doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we'll run through each tag and find the open close pair. If there is only an open tag, then insert a close tag. Well, it's not really inserting a close tag, but it's like, it's like inserting a close tag. It's close. Insert a close tag. We're basically like assume a close tag, right? Which means I don't need to track depth anymore. I feel like the algorithm is starting to confuse me again. So I only need to track if they're open, and then the depth should take care of itself with this current algorithm, which is run through backwards, boom, 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 GDML, and then we'll kind of recurse up. And we can guarantee that we won't have any hanging close tags during initial parsing. And then during fixed tags, we can do the rest. Let me think, is there a better way to do this? I feel like I can do this during the initial pass. So that's something that's kind of bothering me, is I feel like I could do this during the initial pass. So we hold on to like the hanging close. I guess this is like a hanging open actually, because we run through forwards. Hanging open counts. technically more correct. Let me think. I feel like this is... I'm super overcomplicating this. So if we ever have an open node, yeah. What we could do instead of just counting each node type, what we could do is store data about where we found it. So if we run through forwards, yeah, okay. So we run through forwards, we get GDML, that's hanging, script, that's hanging, script, this is hanging, script, we can match this back, close. And so everything in between those is an actual, that's a resolved tag, if you will. Yeah, okay. I think that makes more sense. That's a more logical processing methodology. Yeah, okay. So let's start organizing for that. So move layout into parser. So parser will give me back a layout, that's fine. That's fine. And then this will have a like in progress tags. So this will be like a tag name. It'll be a tag name. I don't have a way to associate by count. But I totally could. I totally can, yeah. So because it's a dictionary, we can do like tag index. So tag index, which is an integer, to like tag data. And then do I have tag data? There is just tag. What's inside a tag? Let's move tag to here. Tag is now in parser because we only need it in parser, and then after that, I guess we'll just figure it out, right? So tag. There is your tag. Layout has been yeeted. That's fine. But tag, we don't need to have depth because now we are handling that explicitly. Take out that, take out this, but then we need to have I guess var handled, which is false. So if we ever run into something that isn't handled, then that's a problem. But then we'll be able to associate it or find it by index and then know which one it is. And then we'll still just ignore empty or hanging close tags. Yeah. So ignore hanging close tags, but at the very end, we'll still have the position of everything by index. And then we can tell whether or not it was actually handled or not. I think. Or maybe this could be an array of tag data. Or tag data, which is an array of tags, right? So we'll use, it's kind of like newfangled Python syntax that doesn't actually exist in Godot 3. So tag data, so it's an array of tags. Okay. And then this needs to change. So this is tag name, string to tag data. So then we'll just need to look through that entire array and find the last tag. So it'll be like a stack of tags. Yeah. So GDML would push one onto the stack that of in process tags. Scripts, we push that onto the stack. Scripts, we push that onto the onto the stack of script tags only. Then here we find that matching close, where you find a close tag. So we pop one off of this one. We pop one off the script tag stack, and then add that to the layout instead. Yeah, okay. I think that makes sense. So most of this is pretty good, I think. Which means I need to ignore most of these. So a lot of these are now incorrect. So tag is open. That's okay. This is okay. I believe that this is actually supposed to be closed tag pointer now. So anywhere where we have tag pointer, tag pointer, tag pointer, tag pointer, tag pointer. Then all of these can go away. GDML B, script B, don't care. These don't care. All right, cool. Then this should be okay. Yeah, so take out hanging open count. And then all of this we can comment out. So if there is no node name, then whatever. But then in progress tags. So if in progress tags, if not in progress tags has data node name, then in progress tags, let's grab the node name. Node name, and then this will be node name, because everything will be associated by name, and then these are just like mini stacks, which makes it easy to figure out which one we need to manipulate. Then in progress tags, blah blah. So if data is open, so that is a valid thing to come from reader. Is open, right? Yeah. Node data. All right, what do you got? Is open. Yeah. So if it's open, then we'll do in progress tags node name is equal to, oh, we'll just append GML tag new, and then tag, I guess we don't really need to have like is open or even is like handled. We only need to have like the data, we only need the necessary data in this case now. So this is a slightly better design, I think. So new, this will take a data, or this is a node name, data attributes, and then data text. Or actually, we can just do this like GDML. Yeah, this is data, so GDML, node data. So data, node name, data, attributes, data, text. Easy. No problem. No problem. All right, so what is your problem? Too many arguments for a init call. That makes sense. So this needs to be just regular data. Okay. Now what if it's closed, then we need to check to see if we're able to pop back. So what are the array methods? There's pop back, right? Pop back returns null without printing an error message, although I could just check that myself. So var tag, which is a GDML tag, yeah, in progress tags, node name, pop back, if tag is null, which means that we didn't get anything, and it says it doesn't return an error message, which is good in my case. I'll push error. Hanging tag found. Which is node name. Also, I think I need to, yeah, oh, you know what? Yeah, if I just maintain my own count, that's okay. So var count, or it's pretty much like pointer location, right? We'll call it count. 0. So this one, we need to have, I guess we need to store the pointer. So pointer, or I guess location, right? Location. All right, so this needs a change. So count. And then count plus equals 1. Yeah. So if it's an open tag, or no matter what, once we get to this point, we should be incrementing the count. Every single time. So if tag is null, then we'll push error else. That's a big if else chain. Because we can't just continue, right? Because we always need to increment the count. Or actually, we could just do it here and just make sure that we always handle it. Yeah. Yeah, so if we have a valid node, then we'll just send it. Actually, counts only matters here. Yeah, if it's open. Because open tags are the only tags that we really care about when we're parsing, especially with how I'm doing it. So if it's a hanging tag, then we'll just print an error. That's okay. Otherwise, let's see. We can do layout tags or layout add tag. Layout tags append tag. Yeah, one of those. So we'll just move it from our in progress tags to our layout tags. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So then we won't be using add tags anymore. Say goodbye. Yeah, and then each tag will have its index or its location pre-handled, more or less, just so I know where tags are. Hanging tag, this found at approximate location, this thing. Yeah, so I try to hold on to my own counter, but that won't always work. I think actually, no, that should always work, right? No, that won't always work. I guess this is like tag location, which is based off of this metric, and then var real tag location, which is less correct. So real tag location counts up every single time. So real tag location will be based off, yeah. So there's a tag location and then a real tag location, which helps me figure out where errors are. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Then layout tags will append the tag. We popped it from the in progress tags node. And that's pretty much it. Then we just need to process every single tag afterwards. So I think that involves hoisting tags. And then also we need to make sure that specific tags are actually handled properly. So in progress tags, if it's an open tag, that's okay. If it's a closed tag, that's a bit more difficult. Oh, actually, no, then this is completely wrong still. What am I doing? Yeah, because no, this is completely wrong. Because what will happen is that we will kind of construct our entire tree in opposite order, which we don't want. Which we don't want. Okay, so how do I figure out? I feel like this makes more sense to do it while we're still parsing the tags. So tag location and then real tag location. So real tag location is tag location taking into account open close tags, and then this is tag location by actual utilization, or it's not by actual utilization, by tag location by it's like tag location in layouts. Only really used for debugging, I think. Okay. So based off this, boom, boom, we close this, and that means that we add it, but that's not necessarily true. Maybe I should be like building the entire hierarchy immediately. So each tag potentially has one-to-many parents, which means I need to start building my entire kind of node tree beforehand, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think the depth calculations made more sense. So scripts goes to scripts. Because tag will need to. Yeah, maybe I should just be holding on to. I should be building the tags now. On the first pass. Which means I also need to start building the stack on the first pass. That's tough. That's not how I foresaw this going. Yeah, I think this is wrong. I think this is wrong. I'm trying to roll it around my head though. Is there a way to salvage this? Like it's good to it's good to do it like this. Maybe like tags can instead be a list of keys, or it can be a dictionary, and then everything will be associated by its location. Oh, maybe interesting. That's an interesting thing to think about. So if everything is associated by index, then that changes things, right? Because now this turns into tags. This will be a tag location to just the tag. So then once we start iterating through every single tag, once we start iterating through tags, we can just sort it. We sort the array and then process them one by one. But then that still doesn't solve the problem of how do we know where close and open tags are? I gotta think. I gotta think. I gotta think. So forward pass, GDML, script, this doesn't get closed either, so this is still hanging. Script, data open, we add this to our kind of tag stack, in progress tags. Then we close it. We add this to the tag location in tags. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that makes sense at all. Because then how do I associate them back to the upper level GDML thing? Like, I still need to have the concept of depth tags in order to associate them back to their... Oh no. Yeah, I think I just wasted my time. Because I still need to figure out the inheritance, because otherwise it looks like this. Or I just have no way of knowing what it looks like, right? I'm thinking. There's a way around this. There's a way around this that makes more sense. So GDML, script, that's an orphan. Script. So I can take into account, so in this instance, I can take the regular tag location and then the real tag location, and then just place open and close appropriately. That's fine. Hold on. I think this layout still needs to be an array. That's almost 100% sure. Right, so this should still be tags. Or actually, we should do something like var tag, right? This is a GDML tag. New data with the tag location, which is its canonical location within the file. I think I should actually be using the real tag location, not the inner tag location. Yeah, I should be using the real tag location. So tag location, this is tag location. Boom, boom. Everything just uses the tag location, that's fine. So tag location will just be incremented every single time. There will be spaces, but that's okay. So in progress tags, we'll pop it if possible. Yeah, we'll pop it if possible, and then we'll create a new tag. Yeah, we'll pop it if possible, and then we'll create a new tag for the closing tag as well. And then for every open tag that doesn't have a matching closing tag, we'll generate a closing tag for it, just so that our kind of tag tree makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Which means that we can then parse it based off of open close tags, I think. Is that right? So if we guarantee that everything has an open close tag, then that means that we can start parsing things based off of open close tags. Yes, because then this will never match against this. Or even if it possibly does, I'll insert a close tag for it anyways implicitly. Yes. That makes sense, right? Yeah. So if you were to do something like this, then this outer GDML tag will be ignored. This one will just be an in-place GDML tag, or this will be treated as an open-close GDML tag. Yeah. That makes sense. So then once we do the forward, we run through it top down, then we'll go bottom up to determine the depth and the inheritance of every single tag. Yeah. Or I wonder, is there like an unexposed method in Godot as well, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything? Because I can pretty easily just tag this to a specific version of Godot as well, because I do just maintain my own Godot version. So this is under, I have no idea. What would this be under? XML parser in this repository. So what do you got? So this is, it should be a register. No register methods. Bind method, sorry. Okay, well, unfortunately, they don't have. That's good. That's fantastic. That's great. I love that. Get current line always returns 0. That's also like a really good feature. Big fan of that. Yeah, so we'll run through it forwards, then we'll run through it backwards, and then just button everything up after that. So it's a little inefficient actually, but there's not too much I can do about that because there's just too much data. And then I think the syntax is also pretty loose, so I need to be fairly generous in how this is parsed. Okay. So isn't there like a sort custom? So array sort. Yeah, array sort custom, isn't there? Sort custom. Using a custom method argument object that holds the method and the sort, blah blah. Okay. And then we'll just need the sort based off of the location afterwards. Okay. Because the location will always be correct. Yeah, so layouts, tags, append, tag, and then we'll also append tags, GDML tag, new data tag location, and then we'll need to sort everything afterwards. Pretty slow. So this is like sort. Sort raw tags, which takes in a and B. So this is tag A. We'll just call it A, right? So A, GDML tag, B, GDML tag. So this returns a Boolean. Static function sort raw tags. So then if a dot location is less than b dot location, then return true, I suppose. One of those. So here, the very end, after this initial pass, we'll hit it with, well, actually, that should be inside of layout, shouldn't it? Realize I can just copy and paste. So we just hit it with a sort tags. So tags sort custom self sort raw tags, something like that, right? Then layout sort tags, just like that, and then we can do the backwards pass in order to start constructing the hierarchies. So it's like construct hierarchies or something like that. I think that should be okay. My drink is empty. I'll be right back. Hello, hello, I'm back. Okay, so I think tag location needs This is tough. This is tough. All right, hold on. Because there's so many ways you could approach this. But I mean, there's a lot of bad ways you could approach this. But I keep approaching this from the bad way of doing this. So what we can do is tags. Tag location is equal to tag, and then this is just regular tag location, right, is equal to this value here, right? And then afterwards, what we can do is generate like a sorted tags array. Sorted tag. Well, no, because they're already pre-sorted. Yeah, what am I doing? They're already pre-sorted. I just need to access them in... Well, actually, no, they're not pre-sorted. I do need to sort them. So sorted tags will be equal to layout. Well, here we can do call this raw tags, right? So if we call this raw tags, that makes more sense. These are the raw tags, and then we'll have just the regular tag order. So these are just tags. So if we call, whenever we start processing the tags and start building out the tree, it needs to be based off of I don't know, man. The more I like continue to work on it, man, like maybe my first implementation was just the best implementation, because I feel like this is starting to get really complicated again. Like the only thing the first implementation was missing was, you know, checking for hanging close tags, but that's not, you know, that's not really my problem. Here, what like I'm doing is I'm storing the location of every single tag, and then if the tag is an orphan, we'll need to insert something at that specific point, and then we'll still need to construct the hierarchy afterwards by searching for open and close tags. Let's see if this works, and then I can... I think this is potentially better. Like, this makes sense, I think. Get rid of this block. So while true, etc., etc. And then we can check the in progress tags. So for I in progress tags dot keys. So var value, which we can guarantee will be an array, is equal to in progress tags I caught key. If value size is greater than 0, then every single tag inside of that will be invalid, basically. And so at that specific location, we'll need to insert a corresponding open close tag. Yeah, so then what we can do is add that to orphan pointers instead. So this will be GDML tag. So this is like orphans. So if value is size greater than 0, then for I and value, do layout, orphans, appends every single tag that's inside of that. And then we'll just have to manipulate those appropriately. Yeah, so going through the logic again, we pass in the input and the context path. Context path just lets us know whether or not it's a, if it's a relative path, how do we find the file? We initialize the GDML reader. which then reads either the file from the path or a buffer containing text or text data. Then we run through every single node from the reader while tracking the tag location and in progress tags. So if the data is complete, then there's nothing else to process, right? So it doesn't matter. So then we get the node name. Let's actually put a string on that just so I don't get confused. So if node name is empty, then we'll just continue because that means that we're at an empty block. So line 95 here would be empty. If it's not empty, then we increment the tag location by 1 because that's not actually implemented by Godot, annoyingly enough. Then if progress tags does not have the node name, so if we have not encountered the node before, then we allocate a new array for it. So now if it's an open tag, then we will create a new tag. Yeah, we'll just create a new tag and do all the requisite tag stuff. Yeah. So we just add it like right there. Beautiful. Otherwise, if it's a closed tag, then we check to see if there's a corresponding open tag. If there's not a corresponding open tag, then that's an error, then it's hanging. We pass an error and then just ignore it. Otherwise, if we have an open and closed tag, then raw tags. Raw tags is a dictionary of tag location, which is an integer, to a tag, which is a GDML tag. Yeah. It's a tag location, which is an integer, to a tag, which is a GDML tag. So this includes both open and closed tags, which makes things easier for me for parsing. And then this will just be, I guess there's regular GDML tags after that. So we're very slowly building the data structure afterwards. Then after that, after we finish parsing the entire XML file, we'll run through every single key in progress tags, check the array, because previously we assigned an array to every single node name just to track it as our kind of mini stack. So if there is still something left in the stack, because pop back removes things from the stack, or removes things from the array, which I'm using as a stack. So if there's still something left in the stack, then that must be an orphan. And remember that we can never add a close tag. Yeah, we can never add a close tag. So now this has narrowed it down to like, this is an orphan tag. So that's our layout orphans. Oh, hello, Knock. Hello, hello. Nice duck. Looking a lot like a dog, though. But not sure how you guys do things down there. I'm glad you still remember the commands, though. How are you doing today? It always works. Yeah. 1 out of 12 times it works 100% of the time. I am rewriting the parser for this thing, GDML, because my last rewrite worked, so it's a bit cleaner. But now I have now that I actually know how I want it to work, I'm trying to rewrite it, because as it turns out, going into this twice with no plan kind of just results in spaghetti. How about you? Played a lot of Elden Ring today. What a fun game. What a fun game. Wish I was playing that right now, but that's the entire point of the stream, is to is to keep me focused, so I don't just sit around and play video games all day. But I'm trying to come up with a better parser for this, because Godot's XML parser is kind of primitive. So the biggest pain point is the fact that Godot does not handle simultaneous open and close tags correctly. It just tells me that it's an open tag, which causes problems when I'm constructing the entire node tree. So this is an interesting problem. I don't want to write my own XML parser because it looks very complicated. At least from the two implementations I've looked at. I guess the Python implementation was just built in, so. So it doesn't seem very hard to parse. Oh, man, do you know how hard it is to parse though? Like, I think parsing Lisp, oh hello Bumdy. Parsing Lisp is really easy, right? Because you can just do it by S expression, and then you can never just have like a hanging S expression, because every S expression is self-contained, right? Whereas in XML, you can have the open tag. You may or may not have things in between the open tag, and then you have a close tag. But then you can also have a combination open-close tag. List comes already parsed. Yeah. Well, you know. You know. And then the other problem is parsing the attributes inside as well, which is tough. Because you can have 0 to many attributes, 0 to many like text fields, etc. I guess you don't need to worry about new lines unless they're inside of the text field, but still. Yeah, I guess an update for Bumdy is I have finished the refactor for the first refactor for GDML. And now that I finished it, and now that I know exactly what I want to do, I'm trying to refactor it a second time, but now with a plan instead of just winging it. And I'm running into a lot of errors because this is, as it turns out, doing this without tracking depth by myself is kind of complicated. Tracking node depth. Just try, can't be bad as parsing a programming language. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I have a good idea, maybe. Or maybe I'll just go back to my old idea of tracking depth. So, you know, here I can just track depth by like, this is depth 1, depth 2, depth 2, depth 2, depth 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, etc. Right? Like, that's not too bad. The only hard part is that I need to normalize the depth because the depth is based off of open-close tags, which means I need to keep track of which tags are missing a close tag, and then also ignore any tags that are just close tags by themselves. So my current idea, I think I've said that a few times, but got sidetracked multiple times, is to basically maintain a mini stack here. So in progress tags, which is just a bunch of arrays. So when we encounter an open tag, we append it to our mini stack. When we encounter the corresponding close tag, we pop it from the mini stack. If it doesn't exist, then we can assume that it's an orphan close tag, and then we just ignore it. Otherwise, we add it to raw tags, which is a dictionary of tag location to tags. And then afterwards, we can run through every single in progress tag, because we're no longer in progress. So everything that's still in progress must be an orphan, and also must be an open tag as well. that you had solved all this, what happened? Well, I figured that tracking depth by myself was not a good solution. Like, that felt wrong. I don't know. I was thinking about it. While I was banging my head against the big snake boss in Elden Ring. Because that boss isn't hard. It's just BS. By myself? Meaning, what do you mean? Oh, by myself. Did I say by myself? When did I say by myself? In what context? I've already forgotten because I've already started talking about the big snake boss in Elden Ring. Talking about my word choice is generally a bad idea. I come up with that on the fly and then immediately forget which words I used. Solving depth. Yes, solving depth. So tracking depth, basically tracking the depth in order to figure out the inheritance, or not the inheritance, but the parents-child relationships doesn't sound like a great idea. I think that's a bad idea. The alternative is I maintain a mini stack. Okay, so I explain this to knock, but we maintain a mini stack of tags, right? So in progress tags maps to the tag name, and then for every open tag we push it onto our stack. Whenever we encounter a close tag, we pop it from our mini stack. And then for every in progress tag after we're done processing must be an orphan. But then like the problem after that is I still don't know what the depth looks like or what the inheritance looks like, which means I still need to run through everything one more time. Which means I've only cut out basically 4 lines, essentially. Well, 4 lines of logic, I guess. I've only cut out 4 lines of logic. Yeah, just forget, why I can't use C# parser? Because I don't want to use a C# parser. Because if I'm going to use a C# parser, I might as well do it in C++ or Rust or something. You know what? Just do it yourself. No. The hope is that this is portable. So I can throw up like a web demo of like, so I can do a web demo of just like this, you know, check it out. This is Pong. This is Godot's Dodge the Creep. Pretty much all just like loaded at runtime, and then you can change it, and then it just works, right? What breaks things? Yeah, that's the problem. Is that if you want it to be super portable, you gotta do it in GDScript. Yeah, well, you know, so it goes. Like, I could do it in C#, but again, like, this application doesn't use any C# right now, and I don't want it to have to use C#. Is the Rust WASM bundling support in Godot? It's okay. I've actually looked into it. Let me see if I can find it. This one. So technically this is not open source, but whatever. No, like if you've seen what they have to do here to get Rapier working in web, it's just kind of bizarre. It's not here. Where is it? It's this stuff. So you need to run the WASM compiler stuff yourself, which is a pain. So it looks complicated. It looks complicated. And their build only works on Mac. So I'm I'm not looking forward to having to figure that out. Because I've actually never gotten... I've never been able to compile my own web export template for Godot. Because I'm assuming I was messing up some dependencies or something, but... That's why we're here. That's why we're here. That build wasn't for portability. Yeah. The build wasn't meant for portability, but the deployment was meant for portability because it's WASM. So as long as you have a Mac, like I do have a Mac, I don't have an Intel Mac. But also, have you seen the new Macs, like last Tuesday? Those look cool. There's no way like I can justify buying one of those, but just imagine. the M1 Max chip. Oh baby. How do they do it? Why can't that's something I always kind of like wonder about. It's like why can't like Intel just do what Apple's doing? Isn't like Intel that's like their main market? Whereas Apple is more like in the business of doing everything. Or no, Apple is in the business of doing everything. Intel only does, you know, CPUs, and then may or may not have a GPU on the horizon. Like, what are they doing? M1 Pro, what ARM chips? Yeah, the M1 it's like the M1 Max, which is just the M1 Pro, which is just the M1. I don't understand how it works. Like I know nothing about, you know, fabrication stuff except that isn't it like when they fabricate chips, they fabricate the same kind of chip, and then the more defects there are, they just cut those up and sell those as lesser chips. Isn't that how that works? So like the chips that are in the center of the sheet are like the higher end chips because they have less defects. Some Intel just aren't thinking, I guess. Yeah, 2 chips in one. I thought isn't it like the new Mac Pro is using the M1 Max, right? Which is just a bunch of, yeah, it was just the M1 Pro basically stuck together. It's just a bigger M1 Pro. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Intel's doing though. You know what, I've been looking at this sheet wondering why I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see, and then until I realized I wasn't looking at this anymore. Yeah. It's cool. 100% cannot justify buying it, but I guess if you could justify buying it, it's going to be pretty powerful. Although I don't know. What would you even use it for besides just like video editing, I guess? Because I guess like if you're doing like 3D modeling, wouldn't you just send it off to a render farm anyways? Or most of these things, like you don't really need the power of a Mac. You don't need like that powerful a computer. You just need a lot of computers, isn't it? Alright, head off. Might be back later. Alright, take it easy now. Thanks for hanging out. Glad to see you as always. Like the hard, I don't like Mac OS. I also don't like Mac OS. Oh, well, I like Mac OS, as I've stated a million times before. Like if my company wants to buy me a Mac, I'm okay with it. It's a bit limiting. And with Bevy again, trying to make a top-down stealth game. Ooh. Stealth games, I'm not very good at them. A little too prone to panic. But, you know, I'd play them. You know, I think playing a lot of Elden Ring has taught me a lot about myself. And also the fact that Elden Ring also buffers your inputs. So I have a tendency to just mash the roll button whenever I feel scared. Which leads to me getting hit a lot because it means like I'll usually like roll 2 or 3 times in a row. That's one thing I wish I could turn off is input buffering. So what am I doing here? I need to. These are the orphans. I'm looking at this step list. So I've done the identify tags part. I've essentially done this part, which is identify the orphans and normalize the depth because there is no more depth. Are you playing on keyboard? No, I'm using a controller. I'm using an 8-bit. What is it called? 8-bit do. Because I was reading around and saw that this, like, if you don't want to buy like a first party Xbox 360 controller or a PS whatever controller, you should buy an 8-bit do. And I was like, all right, you know what? It's pretty good. I'd recommend it. I'm using it in Nintendo Switch layout, which I don't know if that's the intended layout to use, but that's what I'm using. I'm looking at this step and I'm just drawing a blank as to what to do, by the way, which is why I'm not talking about it. Yeah, no, I think where I am in the game is like I accidentally ran all the way to the final area. So now I'm trying to do the rest of the in-between stuff. So I was having a fun time, having a bad time, for sure. Mostly because I was getting one-shot by everything because I was somewhere I was not supposed to be. I was like, you know what, this is pretty sick. I think it makes a lot more sense this way because like all these giants that are just shooting arrows at me or one-shotting me. That makes sense. As opposed to just riding around your horse with like a big arrow sticking out of your head. I was thinking of something here. So I can take out script pointers. So we have the GDML tags, and then there's the GDML layout. What do we have in between layout? It's like the AST, right? That's essentially what it is, right? Like an AST, abstract syntax tree, except it's not like a syntax tree, it's just like a tree. This is like the game is huge, probably the most big and open map I've ever seen in the video game. Yeah, it's really big. And the fact that it's, I don't know if I don't know. I was gonna say Breath of the Wild probably has more, but that's not true. I think Breath of the Wild does a better job of just letting you go where you want. But I think Elden Ring does a better job of making me feel nervous about where I'm going. Whereas like in Breath of the Wild, after a certain point, I was just like, I don't care. I don't care what you throw at me. Like I can tank it. Whereas in Elden Ring, there's always a little bit of nervousness where I was like, maybe like if I just get knocked off my horse and then I just get ganked, I might die. Yeah, I think it does open world in a really good way where you're never truly safe, which is nice. Because even in the like the earlier areas, like I know that like if you kill one of the, I think isn't it like a tarnished noble or whatever, one of the little dudes that just runs away from you, he'll like morph into a big bear. Spoilers. Which can 100% like 3-shot you. Like I'm at level 80. I think. So I like that aspect of it, which is whereas like you can still totally die at like any point in the game. So you just know a bit more. What am I doing here? Environment art though. I think Breath of the Wild still looks better. Breath of the Wild, Genshin Impact, for the most part, like both still look better than Elden Ring. Elden Ring is kind of, it has its I don't know. I thought Elden Ring was okay. Like, it has some bad parts. It has some, like if you told me that Elden Ring came out last generation, I'd believe you. I think it's good that it looks very consistent, if that's what you're talking about. It's very consistent, but I don't think the graphics are great. Talking as someone with a... What am I running? I'm running a... Ryzen 7 5800 and a 3080. It's not the graphic that worked on the map. Yeah, the map is pretty good. The map is really good, I think. I think it would be a lot more boring if there wasn't a horse, for sure. So I still need to identify the pointers. So we'll run through every single... Or we'll run through this in reverse order. We'll run through this in reverse order. So this is like raw tags reverse. So var reversed raw tags, and then we will generate the kind of structure from that, I think. Invert. Yeah. Let's go. Have you watched Overlord? I think that most of this is out of scope, but Overlord, like the anime? I've watched the first season. There's 4 seasons? What happens in season 2? Overlord. Anime. What happens in season 2? What happens? Well, yeah, what happens in season 1? Mission is fun though. I don't know. What happens in season 2? Like I 100% watched season 1. Hold on. Spoilers. Alright, I remembered that. They fight. Season 2. Give me season 2. What happens here? Oh, I have not watched season 2. Oh, it came out in 2018. That's why I haven't watched like any anime after 2017. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense that I don't recognize it. All right, so here, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, so you have your layout, your tag, and then your, I guess we'll call it like a node structure, basically. Node structure. Node structure. So there's your node structure. And then we'll generate just like a big thing of this, right? So var node structures, and then these will just be in order. GDML node structure. Yeah. I think this is starting to get really complicated for no reason. Yeah, after we got EC explosion. Really? I don't remember. Maybe I should rewatch it. Is that on? I'm assuming it's not on Netflix, right? I don't know. Maybe, or I asked that like assuming that you're watching like, American Netflix, but there are movies that I want to watch that aren't on American Netflix for whatever reason. But I don't know. I don't pay for Crunchyroll. I don't pay for like anything. I don't know. It's like I have other things to do, unfortunately. Especially when it comes to anime. Really watch anime on Netflix? Netflix has some good ones. Netflix has some good ones. They have all the good ones. They have most of the good ones that I've watched. Like, don't they? They used to have Evangelion. Evangelion a bit overrated for sure. What other ones do they have? I didn't watch Evangelion on Netflix, but I'm trying to think what other animes are on Netflix. Except Netflix isn't like was it it's like something about a garden, Violet Evergarden. Yeah, Violet Evergarden was Netflix sponsored, wasn't it? That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. It's like it's very good audio visually. The story is kind of a snoozer, but you know, so it goes. Attributes, which is a dictionary, I guess. You don't know though? You don't know Violet Evergarden? Really? You've never watched Violet Evergarden? That's a good one. I'd recommend it for sure. It's a very, very good looking and very good sounding show. I don't know what I rated it, because I don't know. I tend to rate things on the story. Like, I think the story was kind of boring. It kind of didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I guess if you can get past like a few of the logical fallacies, like I think if you're more into anime for like the arts, like the audio visual experience, I think you'll really like it. Arcane? Arcane is not an anime? That's the League of Legends one, isn't it? Dota series? There's a Dota series? There's a Dota series? American anime? Yeah, isn't was it Castlevania is American anime, isn't it? Like I remember one of the like the music YouTubers who used to do like a lot of guitar tabs for anime music. Watched them a lot. They announced that they were shutting down their channel because they were like lead animator on the Castlevania anime. I was like, what the heck? What? That's crazy. One, how are you drawing with those long fingernails? And two, it must be nice being like multi-talented as well. Being able to both draw and play like really complicated, like compose basically really complicated. It's not compose. What is it called? Arrange really complicated music. Dragon Knight original is a guy from remix Dragon Knight. Don't know that one. All right, so okay, so I'll run through every single tag. All right, so this is starting to turn into spaghetti again, I think. That's okay. So this is like parse tags until end of input. We identify the orphans, and then we'll run through every single tag. So for this is reverse raw tag keys. Dragon Knight is a hero in Dota. Is Dragon Knight a hero in Dota? Is that his original name? I used to know most of the heroes. Dragon Knight? Dota? Who is this guy? Dragon Knight? Is this his real name? Is this his normal name? Oh, maybe not. Maybe it was. Maybe I just never played as him. I recognize the silhouette. Yeah, it's this guy. His name is Dragon Knight? No, that's not Dragon Knight. Who is this? Oh no, like I know, yeah, there's techies. I played a lot of, who is Bone Lord? Skeleton Man? There was a Skeleton Man, I played a lot of him. I played a lot of, who's the alchemist guy? Who you can switch up your skills as well. There's Faceless Void, gotta love Faceless Void. Who's the guy who does a lot of spinning as well? Skeleton King. Isn't Skeleton King, he got changed back into Wraith King? Or is that like old news? I don't really play too much Dota 2. I played a lot more League. Invoker. Yeah, Invoker. Yeah. Invoker. Invoker was tough. I remember I put a lot of time into Dota 2 trying to learn it, and then played a few ranked matches, got flamed really hard, and I was like, you know what? I'll just go back to League. League, at least I was okay at. League I was at least okay at. Dota, it's like you need to learn the entire thing over again because the mechanics are just ever so slightly different. That makes it hard. It's harder to play than League for sure though, in my opinion. Alright, so here we're doing the same thing as in layouts here. So for key in this, so this is your tag. Layouts, raw tags. Yeah, no, I think the hard part about Dota is that there's like the turn speed. I don't know if that's still a thing. I know that they changed how couriers work, so like League doesn't have couriers, but at least when I played Dota, which is like a few years ago, they still had couriers, so the entire team had to share one courier. I remember I've accidentally killed the courier a few times, but that's not my fault because it was a bot match. It didn't matter because it was a bot match, but yeah, I thought like everyone has their own courier, right? Yeah, but the turn speed, I'm assuming everyone still has. So this is close tags by themselves should be ignored. Big bodies have less turn speed. Yeah, that's something that gets me. So you can't turn on a dime, which is kind of a problem because you know, going back to how I play Elden Ring, I tend to mash. Like my reaction speed, not too bad, but I tend to like I tend to have a lot of input spam. which in games that have buffered inputs or like are just not as reactive tends to screw me over. Which is why I like playing, I think Super Smash Bros. Melee is pretty fun. Especially after I learned how to do all the advanced tech. Although I stopped playing that because it started to really mess up my hands. So you have the tag, and then we're looking for a close tag. Oh, and then this should be, this is the same logic actually. So this is like generates node structure. Yeah, generate node structure for a given index. So we'll always parse it backwards. Oh, but then I need to... I still need to resolve the orphans because that's still not handled. Hold on. Hold on. I still need to handle that. So now that we have our orphans, that's the layout orphans. So based off of that, we can do identify orphans, and then for each orphan we need to go into raw tag. Maybe just like regular tags? Yeah. Or raw tags. So for each raw tag, so we'll need to identify... Does this tag... Or does this... Layout orphans. What we can do is change this to a dictionary. So this is location, which is an integer, to a GDML tag. So this is now orphans. This is and I can guarantee that the location will always be different. So I dot location is equal to I. Right. Then here, this is like insert I guess normalize orphans and normal nodes, or normal elements, shall we say? Okay, so that's the last part that I'm missing. And then after that, we still need to fix the rest. Identify orphans. So this takes a layout, GDML layout. For key in tags keys. Tags. I and val layout dot orphans I location is equal to I. Okay, so then identify orphans. So this is in progress tags. I'll also pass along the layouts. All right, so then normalize orphans and elements and orphans, I suppose. Okay. Normalize elements and orphans. So this is entirely based out off the layouts. It's okay. This is like breaking my brain. Anything that has to do with like parsing and like generating more stuff. If this is not something that I've seen before, and if it's not something that like I guess just makes sense. So like for me, something that just makes sense is to manually do depth tracking, right? If it's not something that comes to me naturally, I tend to struggle. I'm thinking. But doing depth tracking doesn't really make sense to me, I think. And then for key in layouts raw tags dot keys. So var, so this raw key, sure, raw key, var raw value should be a GDML tag, layout, raw tags, raw key. Okay, nothing comes to mind. Sure. Why not? Mind flood me a bit more. I think what I have so far that's currently pushed works, which is why I don't feel bad about changing it. But I think I can do it better. Or if you parse the file manually line by line, find the closing tags, I could. But the problem is, right, is that that's not actually how XML works. So like what would you suggest? What would you suggest I do for this instance? Right? Oh geez. So like this is technically valid XML, which is right, and that makes sense. But if I parse it line by line, then I'm just parsing it normally. And the parsing it normally sounds very difficult. Although I could parse it normally, but I don't want to. Makes it close. Yeah. But then the problem is I don't have a way of identifying. Don't parse all the way. I guess I could do like a. I see what you're saying, right? Is I only parse. Yeah, I only parse the first part of it and then check to see if it's a closing tag or not. So I don't have to parse the attributes, which is the hard part. Right? And I also don't have to parse the text, which is potentially the hard part as well. I think the hardest part is the attributes, and then trying to figure out if it's an open or a closed tag. The last two letters, yeah, I guess I could do that. So parse it line by line and see if the thing matches, I suppose. I don't know. I think that could break. I think that could break. There's a lot of places where that could break. For example, here. which is line, which if we were going line by line, I mean, this would fail. Parse no to that. Yeah, I think that's another problem. That's another problem. There's a lot of difficulties here that I did not foresee. There's a lot of problems here that I did not foresee. At least you could do it if close tax pounds equals note size, then you'll know. Well, I already know, right? Like I have a pretty good way of identifying orphans, which is just to run through it backwards. That's not the problem. I think the problem is doing it in a way that makes sense. Or that's not as garbage as this. Like I really don't like this way of doing it. Right, like there's like the identify tags, and then there's like re-identify GDML pointers. Like that just feels really bad. I hate that. But that might be the best way of doing it. But I'm sure there's a... I don't know. I don't know. I think something is wrong with my algorithm. Because here, right, like I have the orphans, and then there's no depth associated with them, which means I need to parse the entire tree again. When C++ get parse line number? Yeah. But I'm trying to avoid that as well. Because I would like to be able to distribute this as like just a library. Which is why I'm trying to do this all in GDScript. Like, yeah, this would be a way easier if I could just do this in like C# or Rust or whatever. Like, because there's libraries for that. Important finder is probably needs very big change in the parser because no one did it. Yeah. Well, I think the problem with that is that, like, if you look at all the XML stuff, or I guess all the developer commentary on XML stuff, so Godot XML parser, it looks like they've actually discussed like removing it. I've seen it before somewhere. Where is it? I've seen it before. I've seen it before, but they've discussed removing it. So I don't think that it's or at least removing the GDScript's exposing part of it. Remove, then what? Well, if they remove it, then I guess I'm just out of luck, right? Then I'd need to do it entirely via my own parser, or, you know, essentially GD native. If you think about it, C# is basically GD native. C++ parser library. Well, yeah, then I just need to integrate it with the engine. Include with a Godot build. I don't want to include my own Godot build though, right? Like that's tough. Like that was hard enough getting people to use my own custom Godot build with this. Like that's the biggest thing, right? Is that like with this program, I'm finally at a point where, you know, if you just want to do development, you just need like the standard Godot build. Yeah, right. Well, right now they only need it if they build the app. But what I'm suggesting is that the entire GUI is driven by this. Yeah, 91% of users aren't developers. Yeah, I know that 99% of users aren't developers. But, you know, it's hard enough to get, you know, anyone to help write the application, right? Like, getting contributions is already hard enough. I don't want to, I guess, discourage even more contributions by like, you know, requiring the development build to use my own custom thing, right? Like if it's just standard Godot, you're more likely to get people who may or may not contribute. Like I think like way back in the day, before I moved over to Godot, I think 3.4, there was only one other contributor, because it, you know, you needed to use, I don't, where do I find contributors? I guess it's not on the zoomed, yeah. Oh, they don't even show up. That's okay. I know who they are. But yeah, there was only one other contributor, and then once I moved to 3.4, now there's, you know, 5 other contributors. You know, because it's easier, right? All you need is the standard Godot build. You could do it in Godot 4 when you don't have to rebuild to use an external lib. Well, you never need to rebuild to use external libs, but the problem with using an external library is that it doesn't deploy to web. Because the point is that I want to make this a general purpose library. So like you don't have to just use it for, you know, my use case. It can be used for a lot of use cases. Right? I think that could be really cool. Which is why I'm trying to do this entirely in GDScript, and also why it's very painful, because I need to roll my own library. Basically. Yeah, that's why this is so tough. This is why this is so tough. Like, you already don't need to rebuild it if you're just using GD native. Like, I'm sure there's a Rust library or a C++ library that already does what I want it to do. But, you know, I'm trying to target the segment of people that are, 1, developers, but too lazy to compile a custom build or use my own custom build. But 3 are willing to download or git clone a repository. Because I can attest, right? So for, like, if you're using a custom Godot build, I'm probably not gonna contribute to the project either. Include JavaScript parser for only web, maybe. But that sounds tough. I don't know. That sounds tough. I'm still thinking about it. Raw tags is, I need to think about it. I'm starting to think I might just go back to the old depth parser. And then if I want something fancier, then I can do it in GD native. It's just a parser after all. Yeah, it is just a parser. I gotta think about it. It's hard. It's hard. Nothing runtime related. Yeah. Well, technically this is entirely runtime related, right? Because the point is that it generates it generates your UI layout at runtime. Yeah, you know what? You know what? I think that this is, I think I'm gonna have to scrap this. I think I'm gonna scrap it. I really dislike this. This is not good. And not Delta. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm doing a little bit of soul searching now. I'm just thinking, like, man, this, I was trying to simplify it, but now it's just getting more and more complicated. So if I can just, like, you know, this, like, the web build will just use pure GD scripts, and you'll just have to live with, like, slower to performance. Like, that's okay. This is, I think it's too complicated. I think it's too complicated at this point. My previous implementation wasn't so bad. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I hate having to do it, but I mean, it works right now, which is the sad part. I'm wasting time apart, so if it works, you know, sure many lives can be improved. I think most of it can be improved. Like, this is where we're at, right? Like, it works. Check this out. Like, it still works. Oh, geez. Like, we can, like, on button, press true, blah, blah. Like, it all still works, but, like, most of the code is pretty gross. Which I'm trying to avoid. And then also, if you have too many close thingies, then it also just kind of is weird. Let's probably look at him. Who wants to? Yeah, probably. Well, if it's bug free, well, I've already identified one bug, right? So if you do something like this, if you just slap in like an errant tag, it doesn't matter what the tag is. Like, you could just put this as like a button, right? It doesn't matter where it is. If you run this, it breaks everything. Everything gets broken by that, because then it screws up the entire depth hierarchy, which I would like to avoid. But if you take that out, then yeah, it generates everything as expected, right? So you can even see, you know, this super nested GDML to GDML to GDML. All of these are buttons, so you should see, oh, actually, oh, these are all at the same point, so that's okay. Yeah, so it generates every button appropriately. They're also like stacked on top of each other, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, I'm losing my mind. But I really want to get this done, because it's a good idea. Still fine though. Yeah. I guess it's still fine. That's a user error? Yeah. I suppose. I know there is a way around it. There's a way around it. Hold on. If at least I can fix that one thing, to just ignore bad close tags, I think I would feel a lot better. Let me see. So, I mean, and also I really don't like this portion of it, which is like, we identify tags, normalize depth, re-identify GDML, hoist the scripts, identify tags again, and then re-identify GDML pointers. Like, that's so gross. I hate that. But I know there's a way, because I came up with it just now. Is this just normal? Yeah. It's normal if you are on a deadline. It's normal if you're on a deadline, but I can do it better. I can do it better. I don't know. Well, anyways, I actually gotta bounce. I can't go too late today, because I need to wake up for a meeting first thing in the morning. So I think actually my stream schedule might be pushed up by like an hour. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. I will be live Tuesday, currently scheduled for 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully working on this so I can, I don't know, maybe I'll work on improving this tomorrow. But yeah, well, no, it's a consistent 8 a.m. 800 meeting for the next 3 months. But yeah, let me see. There is a Discord. Give me a follow in already. There's the GitHub, etc., etc. You know, all that good stuff. But yeah, Guess I'll see you later. Goodbye.